good morning to you, Grenada Carrier, Coopity, imagining the rest of the Eastern Caribbean. Those of you who are joining us on the social media platforms, good morning, good day, despite depending on which time zone you are on. Good morning. Welcome to Grenada, those of you in the diaspora. It's indeed another beautiful day, beautiful. Yeah. Despite the overcast, what is apparent inclement weather conditions, we'll get to know better at just a little after 7 o'clock when we link up with the Met Office for the weather report. But we're going to make the best of it, right? That's the life. That's the way it is in our area, in our part of the vineyard. The rain, we don't get snow. No. What we do have is sun and rain. And we are in the hurricane season. It's not over as yet. So I hope that we are all prepared. Good morning to you, Mr. Gary, Mr. Smooth Roberts. How are you doing, Papi? Yeah. So as you know, as we always do it, let me give you what the word of the day is today. And the word for today is spiel. Spiel. It is spelled S-P-I-E-L. And it means a fast speech. Often one that has been rehearsed or given before, that is usually intended to get someone to buy something or to agree to something. Alright, that's what spiel means. S-P-I-E-L. A fast speech. Often one that has been rehearsed or given before, that is usually intended to get someone to buy or to agree to something. We'll let the salesman give us his opening spiel, but when he got to the high-pressure sales tactics, we cut him short and made it clear that we were not interested. Yeah. That's how you use it in a sentence, right? It's a noun. Salesmen usually do that. They rehearse their presentation, so they give spiels. Yeah, encourage you, motivate you to buy. 26 minutes on to 7. We've got the AM edition of News, Sports and the Weather at 15 minutes on to 7. And let me give you the thought for the day. If we don't learn to control our thoughts, we will never learn to control our behavior. Yeah, I like that. It sort of blends in with what Joel said this morning, yeah? Control your thoughts. Get rid of the negative thoughts. Because if you don't, the negative thoughts will control you. Yeah. Be optimistic, be positive. Always remember, tough times don't last, but tough people do. And this too shall pass. Did you know that every problem has a death time? Yeah. It has a time to die. Doesn't last forever. Doesn't. So remember that. If we don't learn to control our thoughts, we will never learn to control our behavior. Think positive. Think positive. The problem is big, but my God is bigger. He is the biggest. Yeah. Don't think that you are the only one that's going through, man. No. We all got our battles. Don't let them break us. Let them make us stronger. There's nothing more fulfilling than knowing that you overcame a problem, right? Yeah, challenges were not intended to make us weaker. They were intended to make us stronger. The hurdles in life, yeah, that's what they're intended for. Yeah, that's what they're intended for. So remember this, if we don't learn to control our thoughts, we will never, ever learn to control our behavior. That was the thought for the day. In essence, just be positive, be optimistic. Find someone good, someone confidential, someone supportive, and talk. Remember, no man is an island. No man stands alone. There's nothing about independence with us. We all need someone, sometimes. Yeah. 23 minutes until the hour of 7 o'clock. Mr. Alfred and Miss Olive, good morning. How do you do? Tishi, how you doing? Kathy, good morning to you too. I want to say good morning to the folks inside of New Hampshire this morning. How's New Hampshire doing? Yeah, good. And I promise you from Monday, if God permits, well, embedded within this program, we will have what we call the village call, where we'll fit you a village every morning, and that way we'll get to know Grenada better. And I have a feeling the tourism authority should adopt that program, right? Yeah. So we're now heading to the riddle of the day. And remember the number that you can call. It's 435-2041. I like this one. I hope it's challenging. Yeah, I want to hear you think out loud this morning. Now hear this. What is bought by the yard but is worn by the foot? What is bought by the yard but is worn by the foot? I want to hear you. Give me a call, 435-2041. That's the answer. Nice. What is bought by the yard but is worn by the foot? Think you have the answer? And don't forget, we're working on getting some prizes to go along with the riddle. Good morning, Mr. Mike Alexis. How are you doing? Yeah, you wake up yet? No, you're an old man, you know. You need the late sleep. Good morning to you and the family. What is bought by the yard but is worn by the foot? Give me a call on the ring-a-ling, ting, 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 ting. 435-2041. Yeah. Parents, have you gotten the children up yet? Yeah, they should be up already. We've got a call on the line. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you this morning?
Not too bad, thank you.
Tell me, where are you calling me from?
I'm calling you from Happy Hill.
From where?
Happy Hill.
Happy Hill. How happy is Happy Hill this morning?
Well, not that happy. The water, they take water and want to use water now. No water.
They took the water?
Yeah, and I'm wondering if they did put a notice on the radio saying that we would be without water for such and such a thing.
Okay. All right. Well, now, sir, I know that Mr. Husband and his team usually listens to us in the morning, so they'll remedy that situation at the earliest convenience, all right?
Yeah.
So do you think you have the answer for the riddle this morning?
I'll try.
Give it your best shot.
Cloth. Buy so many yards of cloth and you make a pants. All right, it's bad by the yard and one by the foot.
By the foot, okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, tell you what, you are not correct, but you're close, all right? You're close. Have a good day.
All right.
And I hope the water comes back soon, all right?
Oh, yeah.
Good, bless. And good. Yeah, good. Yeah, what is bought by the yard but worn by the foot? Tell me. 435-2041. That's the number to call on the ting-a-ling and tell me. Yeah, tell me. What is bought by the yard but owned by the foot? Tell me. And back to the telephone lines we go. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good.
And where are you calling from?
Closure St. John.
How is Closure this morning?
Well, rain not coming, but a bit cloudy.
It's rain not falling, but it's a bit cloudy.
Yeah.
So you presume there'll be some rain?
Yeah.
Don't let that be an excuse for you not to go to school, you know.
Nah, I prefer to go to school already.
Wow, that's good. What school do you attend?
PBC.
What's the meaning of PBC again?
Presentation Brothers College.
What form are you in?
Form 1.
How are you coping with the new school life?
Great.
Good. What's your favorite subject?
Visual arts.
Visual arts. Okay, so you can sit and draw me, right?
Yeah.
Would you do a good job at it?
Maybe.
Would you make me as handsome as I am? Okay, tell me, you think you have an answer for the riddle this morning?
Yep.
Tell me.
Carpet.
Carpet. Who told you that?
Cook.
Huh?
My mind.
Nah, don't try that. You went to the University of Google, right? You Googled it, okay? Well, tell you what, you are correct, right? Tell me your name.
Adriel Belfon.
Adriel Belfon. All right, Adriel. Well, I want you to go to school today and be on your best behavior. Remember, when you're walking the road, always walk on the side that the traffic is coming to you so that you can see what's coming to you, all right?
Yeah, thank you.
And be a leader, not a follower, all right? Don't follow. You lead, okay?
Yeah.
Ariel, have a good day, all right?
Yeah.
God bless you and your family. Good, bye-bye. He is correct. He is so correct. What is bought by the yard but worn by the foot? Yeah, that's carpet. The previous caller, you came close, right? You came very close. And of course, just like to remind you that just around 7 o'clock this morning, I will be speaking directly with barrister at law, Mr. Derek Sylvester. He is the president of the Grenada Bar Association. And you know they've got this lecture coming up. So we're going to be chit-chatting about that and maybe other pertinent legal matters or legal issues. So stay tuned for that just after the news this morning. Yeah, what's buzzing this morning? And you know we're going to take a buzz this morning, of course. All right, what's buzzing this morning? We'll be looking at the Granville Vale roadblock as a result of the boulder that you would see. Yeah, we talk about that and other pertinent things. We've got, as I said, we've got the interview with Derek Sylvester coming up, and Grenadians are being encouraged to know their rights relative to citizenship, as former Attorney General Jimmy Bristol points out that the NDC-led administration is going against the Constitution by following the prior government's action in demanding that foreign-born children of Grenadian parentage apply for the Grenadian citizenship. We've got that to discuss. And so much more. But folks, at this time, it's time to take that break as we prepare for the morning edition of News, Sports and the Weather. See you on the flip side of 7.
With your new GUT Credit Union Visa debit card, which gives you access to your cash at any Connex or Visa certified ATMs locally and internationally. Make your payments with a tap of your card using the contactless feature and have the freedom to make purchases locally, online, or overseas whenever you travel anywhere Visa is accepted. Experience the enhanced security fraud protection through the Visa chip technology. If you don't have your new GUT Credit Union Visa International debit card, speak to any one of our representatives today to do more. Your new GUT Credit Union Visa International debit card. A smarter way to access your cash. More smart, more secure.
From Television Center, the Grenada Broadcasting Network, I'm Kenroy Batiste. Grenadians have been encouraged to know their rights relative to citizenship, as former Attorney General Jimmy Bristol points out that the NDC administration is going against the Constitution by following the prior government's action in demanding that foreign-born children of Grenadian parentage apply for their Grenadian citizenship. My colleague Rena Ped Thomas has this story.
Former Attorney General Jimmy Bristol is imploring Grenadians on the island and in the diaspora to educate themselves on their rights for Grenadian citizenship. This comes as the lawyer claims that the newly elected government is going against their campaign promise to abide by Grenada's constitution by asking children of Grenadian parentage who were born in a foreign country to apply for citizenship or be deported.
Now, what the Constitution under Section 97 says is that such person born outside Grenada to parents who are born in Grenada after independence are citizens on the day they were born. The Constitution makes you a citizen. You don't have to apply. You don't have to pay for a form. You don't have to pay a fee for a certificate. Nothing. What has been happening, it came to my attention in the last few weeks, is that this administration is continuing what the previous administration was doing, making such people apply and pay money to be registered as a citizen.
Bristol says by right, the children with Grenadian parentage should only have to provide their birth certificate and that of their parents to obtain their Grenadian passport and not go through the costly and time-consuming procedure of registering for citizenship. He claims that the matter was brought to the attention of the relevant authority and he was told that the situation will be handled, but this is yet to be done.
I did speak with the Attorney General, who said she would send out a memo because she agrees with my position, but that hasn't been done by all accounts because it's still going on. And I had some very worrying news today when I learned that one person who came back to Grenada with their little son, having been brought abroad, was given time to remain and threatened with deportation if he didn't apply for citizenship within a given period. That is absolutely untenable and unacceptable. What bothers me is that the government is aware. They campaigned on a pledge to uphold the Constitution, and it doesn't seem to be that they're doing it in this case.
The attorney states that his concern is not an attack on the new government, but only points out that the situation needs to be addressed quickly. He spoke of how the situation can be resolved.
Well, the Attorney General has to direct the ministry, the Prime Minister's ministry, to stop that. And they will filter it down to immigration. So they will issue the passports. They could set up the internal system where you do a verification in the Prime Minister's office and of your documents. I think you have to verify them.
GBN sought a comment from the current Attorney General, Claudia Joseph, who acknowledged that she had an informal verbal conversation with Mr. Bristol on the matter and agreed that if his client was indeed a citizen by parentage, there was no need for registration of citizenship. She told GBN she did indicate to Mr. Bristol that she will address the issue in her capacity, but could not do so as other responsibilities took precedence. The Attorney General awaits the receipt of any formal documents from her colleague and was surprised that the issue was brought to the media as the conversation was just a few days old. For GBN News, I am Rena Pett Thomas reporting.
The story to report: Evan Smith's health has deteriorated since his alleged attack in Fort Judy some 2 years ago. It was a story that attracted local, regional, and international attention. Christina John brings us up to date with the story.
An application has been filed for a waiver on the cross-examination of Evan Smith. According to representing attorney Derek Sylvester, his client's health has worsened since his attack 2 years ago at Fort Judy, St. David. Before the Fort Judy incident, Mr. Smith's health was already challenged. How this is likely to impact his case is to be determined by the court.
The matter is very close to trial. Two applications have been filed. One application actually has been filed. An expert application has been filed in relation to Evan Smith, and we've also filed an application for his evidence to be entered without cross-examination, because now he has certain medical conditions. He has muscular dystrophy, so he cannot speak and he cannot lift his hands, and so it's a condition he had that was worsened as a result of the incident. So he's not residing in Grenada anymore. He's residing now in Guyana with his sister, and he's being taken care of. But
one may recall that in June 2020, Nicole Smith, wife of Evan Smith, relayed the story of her husband being attacked and bitten by a Caucasian family in Fort Judy, Westerhall, St. David, after he was accused of killing their dog. This sparked outrage among citizens who took protest action seeking justice for the Smiths. Although Mr. Sylvester is not representing Smith in the criminal matter, his deteriorating health condition is likely to come into question at that hearing.
The issue is, how would he be able to give that evidence in a criminal court? That would be an issue for the DPP because he is not able to speak. I believe our Evidence Act allows it, but there would be certain hurdles in relation to cross-examination, which is an accused right pursuant to the Constitution. He's getting treatment for it. I do not want to relay his medical condition too much, but to say that his condition is dire.
Sylvester explained where they are at pertaining to the civil matter. The matter will be heard virtually to accommodate Mr. Smith's condition.
In relation to Evan Smith, that matter is ongoing. The other side, we have filed a civil suit. The other side have filed their defense. We filed our replies, and thereafter we have filed our applications. You have expert applications for doctors, psychological report, and also you have the last report I spoke of. That's in relation to waiving his cross-examination because of his inability to speak because the law allows that.
In the civil suit, the accused, Kavanaugh and Harton, was sued for multiple things, including assault and battery, trespass to chattel, among other losses. The defendants in that matter were placed on $10,000 bail each. Christina John, GBN News.
From media to Parliament is the journey of Grenada's youngest sitting senator, Nelon Franklin. Senator Franklin and several of his Senate colleagues delivered their maiden speech in the upper house of Parliament on Tuesday. Jared Joseph reports.
The journey, which began from within the walls of the Grenada Broadcasting Network to the Customs and Excise Division for Senator Nelon Franklin, has now stepped into the upper house of Parliament. Giving thanks to God and his family, friends, and the people of Brizan, Senator Nelon Franklin also noted the media workers at GBN who contributed to his growth. Noteworthy amongst his former colleagues, he highlighted tearfully the late Levi Benoit.
I am to remember Mr. Levi Benoit. The honorable member would know Mr. Benoit. He took me under his wing. I remember when I was leaving GBN to work at the Customs and Excise Division. That was the first time I saw Levi cry. And he passed too soon, I have to say. And I know that he will be proud to see me here today, because he always said to me, where you are now is not where you're supposed to be. To everyone else in the media fraternity who has groomed me, shaped me, and contributed to my development, I say thanks to them.
The opposition senator, in his inaugural speech, made special mention of the people of St. George Northeast, as well as the hierarchy of the new National Party.
I say thanks to them this morning, Madam President, and I give them the reassurance. I was born amongst them. I grew amongst them. I currently live with them, and I will never leave them. Thank you to Dr. Keith Mitchell and members and supporters of the New National Party for acknowledging the need to continue its efforts of ensuring that youth representation is ensured.
The law enforcement men and women of the Customs and Excise Division, the RGPF, and the Immigration Department was the next stepping stone for the senator, where the principles of hard work and that the country is always first were reinforced.
Madam President, I am no stranger to service. For at a very young age, I felt that my purpose in life would be service, and service to people through sacrifice. I stand here this morning having resigned a permanent job to accept the call to service. I do not regret this because I have known from a very long time, that my purpose is service.
I am Gerard Joseph for GBN News.
Meanwhile, during the sitting of the Upper House of Parliament on Tuesday, Senator Nolan Cox was appointed Deputy President prior to the maiden speeches by the new senators. President of the Senate, Dr. Decima Williams, expressed gratitude to the new senators, whose maiden speeches, she noted, were a proper representation of the people.
One of you summed up our purpose for all of us when he said that he's in the Senate and we should be to do something good for Grenada. That's all he said. I want to do something good for Grenada. Another gave the suggestion that the Senate should educate the public more and get the citizenry to be more involved in governance. And still another advised that we should work closely with the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association to share the wider agenda that they pursue, for example, on climate change, on gender equality, on democratic institution building, and so on.
The President of the Senate also welcomes the pledges of all the new senators to work for Grenada.
Honorable Senators, whether we represent the ruling party, the opposition party, or an interest group, we are here, as Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell told a reporter on the day of the ceremonial opening of Parliament on August 31st. And I remind us of that today. He said to put and to consider as a basic development priority the dignity of the Grenadian human being. There is such a person. I buy into that as a Grenadian and as a manager of the Senate process. I am sure you all do too. We have an opportunity in this House, this Senate House, to lift the dignity of each other as a public servant and of the country.
Rebecca Television Center, the former headquarters of the National Disaster Management Agency at Fort Frederick, will soon be home to the RGPF headquarters. Relocation is expected to begin in December 2022. Extensive restoration work is currently taking place in the facility under the local component of the OECS Regional Tourism Competitive Project. Grenada has secured $6 million from the $26 million project financed by the World Bank to relocate the RGPF headquarters. The regional project has 3 participating islands: Grenada, St. Lucia, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Minister for Mobilization, Implementation and Transformation, Andy Williams, visited the facility on Monday, accompanied by senior officers of the RGPF.
The former National Disaster Management Agency headquarters building at Fort Frederick will soon be home to part of the RGPF headquarters. Relocation is expected to begin in December of 2022. Extensive restoration work is presently taking place on the facility under the local component of the OECS Regional Tourism Competitiveness Project. Grenada has secured $6 million from the $26 million project financed by the World Bank to relocate the RGPF headquarters. The regional project has 3 participating islands: Grenada, St. Lucia, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Minister for Mobilization, Implementation and Transformation, Andy Williams, paid a visit to the facility on Monday, accompanied by senior officers of the RGPF.
Basically, we are engaging on a World Bank project that should have been in place some years now, and the project involved the beautification of Fort George, right, and the restoration of Fort George, and it's going to enhance it as a tourism site. So in doing so, we have to move part of the police headquarters, and we decided to move it up on this area here in Monjaloo. You call it Fort Frederick, right? Fort Frederick, and we are going to move the the stores area. We're also going to move the tailor shop, and also we are going to move the drug squad unit. And that is to give us enough space so that we can do the works at Fort George.
The minister promised that his ministry will ensure a smooth transition of the RGPF's department.
This project here will take approximately 3 months. Right, and we have approximately 8 months to finish the project at Fort George. So it's a project that MIT will be looking to push and to ensure that we do not lose funding for it, and that we do it in the shortest possible time. We are looking at let's say December for the police headquarters, part of it, to be relocated to this area right here at Fort Frederick. And I'm in contact with the contractor to ensure that we even do it before December, so it can be in a short time.
Christina John, GBN News.
Other news, getting students involved in hands-on activities is one way of making learning easier. That's the approach of teachers at the Parkview Preschool at Queen's Park in St. George. More in this Christina John report.
It was wedding day at Parkview Preschool on Tuesday. From the cake to the actual bridal gown, groom's suit, and bridal party, a full pretend wedding was rolled out with the involvement of all the preschoolers who were clad in their bridal wear. Their classroom was transformed with beautiful decor to complement the ceremony. According to teacher at the school, Mrs. Lorraine Doyle, she says at her school they try as much as possible to incorporate a practical aspect to their learning and teaching.
I think that if we start to get the children involved in more hands-on and actually doing things themselves, they learn faster in mostly every field, language, math, science. You always see them running towards the hands-on materials and ready to work, and because they're doing that, they understand it and they're able to talk about it and explain it back to their parents and their teachers a lot better.
She adds that this initiative was meant to give the little ones a clear understanding of what it means to be married and to have a wedding.
We spoke to them about it, what a wedding is. We had a lot of prep sessions, so they got the discussion aspect intact. But when it comes to doing it, they were all excited about, I want to be the groom, I want to be the bridesmaid, because they heard about it, now they want to try. Children always like to try and pretend and dress up and look pretty. So the pretend play was really brought out today in the wedding ceremony. So we gave the children a chance to be a part of an actual wedding, a pretend wedding, and that gave them a chance to know, okay, what is a bride? What does the bride wear? The groom, what does the groom wear? The bridesmaids, the flower girls, what does flower girls do at weddings? What does a ring bearer does at a wedding? So with them being able to act it out, they got a better understanding of what a wedding ceremony on a whole is all about.
She believes students got the true concept of the day's activity.
Yes, I think they did. The bride herself, she did a really excellent job with portraying what a bride is supposed to feel on her wedding day, how she's supposed to react, her emotions, being happy, being all joyful. So she understood it, and the other children, the smaller ones, just looking on, they got a better understanding of the wedding on a whole.
Parents form part of the audience who witnessed the proceedings. Selena John, GBN News.
The frequency of vehicle accidents is what has been creating a buzz on social media.
We present the news. You analyze the various topics and distill the issues as they unfold. Your distillation points matter as we're about to highlight them in our Social Buzz report.
GBN Social Buzz is reaching beyond the local platform to share with you what's trending on social media. We browse the World Wide Web and bring to you the topics inciting the most reaction and debate among users.
20 accidents within 3 days, with one resulting in 5 persons seeking medical attention attention at the General Hospital.
The weekend, starting from the 7th to the 9th, which is Friday to Sunday, which we term over the weekend period, was somewhat busy for members of the traffic department. So far, we had a total of 20 accidents reported to the various police stations throughout the Tri-Land state of Grenada, in which 18 of these 20 are of minor nature and 2 reported to be serious.
Social media users took to the comment section to share their thoughts on the frequency of accidents. The following views are that of members of the public and not of the Grenada Broadcasting Network. Oscar Buxo says, time to reorganize, update, retrain, and equip the protective services. The new drivers are wild. Cleaver Williams says, most of the time, accidents are caused by bad driving habits and to a lesser extent, defective vehicles. I almost had a head-on collision with a pickup at a little roundabout in Archibald Avenue recently when the driver who was traveling towards Lucas Street decided to make a shortcut at that roundabout, almost hitting me and also the vehicle which was traveling in front of him. Absolute madness. Some people seem to be sitting on their brain anytime they get behind a steering wheel. And finally, Gail Peters suggests, stop doing automatic license. Lots of them can't drive. Steering is not driving.
That's what's buzzing tonight. We encourage you, our viewers and listeners, to submit your think pieces on trending topics locally, regionally, and internationally via our Facebook page and YouTube channel. Continue to share your thoughts and concerns with us on our social media platforms.
Darling, would you like some tea? I've made your favorite.
Well, thank you, darling. I'm here finishing my blog post to help homeowners understand their electricity bills. You know, nobody likes paying bills. But at the very least, you should know what you're paying for.
That's true. Some people just check the balance.
Exactly. There's so much more information on your electricity bill. That is how I've been tracking our usage to make sure the changes that we made are working.
So, what do you have so far?
The left side of your bill shows the rates for electricity and the government charges. The middle portion shows the number of units you've consumed, plus the history of your usage over the last 8 months. And the right side shows how much you're being charged.
So tell me about the fuel and non-fuel charge.
When you pay your bill, you're paying one charge broken into parts. There's a fuel charge, which is the cost of fuel used to generate electricity. And there's a non-fuel charge, which is the cost of delivering electricity to your home and any other necessary services.
But darling, what about VAT?
Now this is interesting. If you use 99 units or less, there is no VAT. Above 99 units, you pay 15% VAT on the non-fuel portion of your bill.
I love this so far. But wait a minute. Have you added the environmental levy?
That's the final piece. You see, Grenlec collects this levy from domestic customers on behalf of Solid Waste Management Authority. This charge is $5 or $10 depending on the number of units you use. So, add the fuel, non-fuel, VAT, and the environmental levy, and that's your electricity bill.
This is really good. I mean, it seems like a lot, but I appreciate that Grenlec shows us a breakdown so we can see the value we are getting for our money, and more importantly, where we're spending it. I really think people are going to value this information.
Grenlec, energizing our Grenada.
state-of-the-art Ultratech gasoline and diesel. Available only at Rubis stations.
You've asked for it, and now it's here. The NLA announces its new mid-morning draw, commencing September 30th at 9:45 a.m. Yes, you heard right. Draws for Pick 3, Cash 4, and Playway will now be conducted 3 times daily at 9:45 a.m., 12:45 p.m., and 7:45 p.m., Monday to Friday. The Saturday draws remains twice daily. And that's not all. Simply place your non-winning Cash 4, Pick 3, and Playway tickets valued at least $10 from a single purchase in the NLA branded box at your favorite sales location. 4 chances to win 10 prizes of $1,000 each. Whoa! $10,000 is up for winnings. Compliments the NLA. Be sure to write your name, address, and contact info on your entries before submitting. Promotion runs from September 30th to October 28th and would be drawn on Friday, November 4th, 2022. NLA, making your dreams a reality while supporting sports, culture, and nation building. Must be 18 or older to participate. Terms and conditions apply. See stores for details.
WeatherGuard Pro. For every project, there's only one Pro.
MegaFest 2022 Gospel Explosion is finally here. Join the youth of the Grenada Conference of Seventh-day Adventists under the green and white tent at Progress Park in St. Andrews from Sunday, October 9th to the 29th at 7 p.m. and continuing nightly for an electrifying evangelistic experience like no other. Come hear the ever-exhilarating Pastor Oliver Scott shatter the kingdom of darkness with thundering messages from the Word of God. If you ever needed the Lord before, we sure do need Him now. Come find hope in the midst of your pain. See you there.
Affordable quality products delivered to you via Superb Service. We are Superb Distributors, wholesalers and authorized agents for trusted products you know and love, like Rika Juices, Pure Heaven products, Bibin diapers, New Bright laundry detergent, Allegra pasta, and more.
Contact Superb Distributors at 435-2948 for superb quality and service.
The National Insurance Scheme continues to make it easy to access our services using the MyNIS online platform. Now we're introducing a new feature that allows you to submit your benefit claims from the convenience of your smart devices. No paper, no hassle. All you have to do is log in to my.nisgrenada.org. Select claims, fill out the relevant information, and click submit. We'll take it from there. It's that simple and that easy. Submit a claim from the comfort of your home as you rest and recuperate. Enjoy the convenience of faster claim processing and monitor the status of your claim every step of the way. We are excited to introduce this new feature to better serve you. NIS is changing the game and the way you make your claim. Access anywhere and anytime with MyNIS Online.
Good morning, and welcome once again. Welcome back to this segment of Good Morning Grenada. And as I hinted to you earlier this morning, I'm joined at the moment with joined by my good friend, attorney at law, the president of the Grenada Bar Association, Mr. Derek Sylvester. Good morning to you, brother.
Good morning, and good morning to your viewing public.
All right, and how are you this morning?
I'm very good today. I'm very good.
I know it's not necessarily customary that you're up that early, but you know.
Yeah, but sometimes I am. This morning I didn't intend to because there was somebody else who had to come at the program, but I decided I was going to fit in today for that person.
I know you like that. Yeah,
definitely.
Okay, so we're here to talk about the 18th edition of the Sir Archibald Ned Law Lecture, and give us some background on that, please.
Okay, well, first. Sir Archibald Ned, he served in Grenada for many years. He served as a judge of the OECS. Then he served as Chief Justice from, I believe, in the early 80s to 1986. Thereafter, he retired. So we felt it was fitting to at least name some things after him. We've named two things after him. One is the Law Library. We have the Sir Archibald Ned Law Library, and also the Sir Archibald Ned Memorial Lecture. And this is the 18th lecture that we'll be having. We've had 17 thus far. The first one was done by Sir Archibald, a noted attorney at law, and that was many years ago, many moons ago.
Eons, yes. Okay. Now, what is the gist behind the lecture? What is it set to accomplish?
Okay. The topic of the lecture is mob justice versus real justice.
Okay.
Sentencing, social media, and the rule of law. We felt that now it is topical to have those issues discussed, because many times you hear on social media and the public that the public is dissatisfied with a particular sentence.
Okay.
Not recognizing and most times not appreciating that sentencing is subjective.
Okay.
So, and sentencing is premised on guidelines, one, and two, you examine certain factors. So you examine the aggravating factors and you examine the mitigating factors to arrive at a sentence that is justiciable in all the circumstances. So sentencing is a tactical, and it could be a difficult exercise for any judicial officer, because one, you're sentencing someone based on the evidence that's presented to you in court.
Okay.
And based on the evidence that you get from the prosecutor and from the defense, not necessarily from what is read or is known in the public. So we believe that now is the time to have such an important lecture and to allow persons to be present, to participate, to ask questions, and now is the time to do so, and with no better person than the Chief Justice of the OECS, Dame Janice Pereira.
Right. Let me ask you a question, though. As it relates to sentencing, now I know that judges and magistrates are guided by certain laws as it relates to, but is there any level of self involved? Like, okay, I read a news article this morning where the magistrate in Dominica said, okay, you're known to the court and you're not learning, so I'm going to give you a 1-year sentence. How much self is in itself?
Well, as a professional, you're trained to disassociate. You ought to disassociate your personal feelings. But what that magistrate did was that she examined the aggravating factors, and she felt, by just listening to what you said, I didn't hear the ruling, that if you're a repeat offender and the nature of the offense, because you went to a church and you steal, your penalty should be much more than I would normally give. So in other words, if the aggravating factors outweigh the mitigating factors, then the penalty could be increased. So there are different circumstances via which a judicial officer could increase or decrease or give a particular sentence. Now we have the sentencing guidelines. So a judicial officer is entitled or ought to examine every factor. And that officer should do so methodically and explain that to the accused. So he knows exactly why he's going to get 1 year, 2 years, maybe no time in prison, maybe a bond, maybe community service, as the case may be.
Okay. Now, as it stands in Grenada right now, as you alluded, this lecture is very timely because we are at a juncture in our nation's day-to-day where quite a number of persons are dissatisfied with certain legal, judicial issues. What's your take on this?
You see, most times it comes from a place of not understanding. Because it's easy to condemn the justice system. It's easy to condemn a judicial officer. But a judicial officer could only embark upon an exercise based on what is presented to that judicial officer. Many times, there are times I've been in court in matters and certain evidence being brought to the court and a particular sentence is imposed. And I recall one incident. And a couple hours after, you see on social media all different factual circumstances, different factual matrices that was never before that magistrate.
Okay.
So that magistrate would have been in a position to impose a fine or a very small sentence, but the factual matrix was not presented to her. So, in other words, what the public just need to be educated, one, and not only the public, but when matters have been presented in court, it must be presented thoroughly, so all the evidence is placed before the court.
Okay.
And the public has to recognize that, and I've seen it happen. When it's their family, they want the least of sentence.
Yeah.
When it's not their family, they want the harshest penalty. So
lock him up and throw the key.
Absolutely, and that's the reason why I commended the Chief Justice with the promulgation and the passing of the sentencing guidelines.
Okay.
Because now we have the guidelines that was passed in 2020, and courts are duty bound to abide by them.
Okay, and let me ask you a quick question too. What the defining characteristics between someone who is a magistrate and a judge? What's the difference there?
Okay, I'll see how I could describe the hierarchy for you. So you have the magistrate, and the magistrate deal with all summary matters, what we refer to as summary matters. All summary matters, all indictable matters. The magistrate deals with almost everything. The magistrate deals with family matters, maintenance, traffic matters. So you would have a multiplicity of magistrates. So you may have a magistrate in every parish.
Okay.
So you have that level. Then when you go higher up, you have the judge, or also you have the master, and the judges deal with both civil and criminal matters, but their jurisdiction is basically unlimited, so they could hear all types of matters.
That's the judge?
Yeah, that's the judge.
Above
the judge, you have the appellate court, which is the appeal court. That's the Court of Appeal. And above the Court of Appeal, you have either the Privy Council, in our case,
CCJ.
or the CCJ.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So someone is not satisfied with a sentence that was meted out to him, goes to the appeal court.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
The accused man could always appeal. The prosecution could appeal, but there are certain matters that the prosecution could appeal. So the prosecution cannot appeal every case.
Okay. All right. Now, you've been practicing law for quite a
21 years.
21 years.
October 19th would be 21 years.
That's a historic date, eh?
That's correct.
Very historic date. That's a date you can't forget, right?
No, of course not.
For more reasons than one.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there are some issues that are tough, especially with the advent of social media. Quite a number of matters are tried in that purview.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, what's life like for a lawyer like yourself?
I practice law to the best of my ability.
Yeah.
I stay focused, and I do what I have to do. So when you say what life is like legally
in your profession,
legally, when you like what you do, passion takes away the labor. I'm not saying sometimes it's not difficult, but to go to my office on a Saturday or a Sunday, or to go to my office in the night, or even to work late, to me it's not work, because I enjoy what I do, because that is my first passion.
Yes.
So when you discover that, because that's what I always wanted to do, and if you read my book, you'll see that.
Yeah.
So it's, sometimes it could be challenging, like anything else, but law is life. It's my life.
Right. I'll ask you a question, and you may plead the fifth if you feel to. But out there, you will hear people saying that this lawyer is a good lawyer, and this one, what characterizes someone as a good lawyer or not?
I'll tell you, 5 years of study in university, 5 trying years, that is sufficient to make you a good lawyer.
Okay.
How you practice, what energy you put into your work would determine the results you get. But I believe every lawyer is a good lawyer. You just have to put your energy into your work. Okay. So if you have a particular matter, but I do not brand a lawyer as good or not good. So if I ask about a good lawyer or not, I say every lawyer is a good lawyer because every lawyer has the ability. The mere fact that you're qualified, it tells that you're academically adept to walk through that 5 years of university. It's no easy walk in the park, and anybody who studied law would tell you it is no easy walk in the park. In some jurisdictions, you must have a degree first.
Right.
Before you actually get into law, and I know that in the U.S. for sure, you must have a degree before you actually get into the practice of law. But it is no easy walk in the park. It may be easier for some persons if they're passionate about it. So, but law is challenging. You have to be on top of your game. You have to be reading. And because it's so involved, you have to be on your A game all the time if you want to be, and if you can't, then you have to know when to retire.
Okay, and I'm gonna go colloquial now. You ain't retiring soon, right?
Time will tell.
Okay, let's get back to the lecture. What So the lecture is on Thursday.
Yes, it's on Thursday in the Trade Center at 6:30. We're inviting the public. We're asking all persons to come to be seated on time. At 6:30, the lecture should not go beyond 2 hours, and there would be a question and answer section. And it's going to be an interesting lecture. I could assure you that, because no other person, there's no better person than the Chief Justice, who actually was responsible for promulgating the sentencing guidelines, to come to speak on the topic. And we haven't had a lecture for the last 5 years.
Okay.
So it's really good that she's coming. She's our first female Chief Justice. Okay. So I believe the public should really capitalize on that opportunity. The many questions that they have to ask, that they ask on social media, they would get those questions answered.
Okay.
So come prepared with those questions.
Okay. Another question. You, the current president of the Grenada Bar Association, what does that role entails?
Well, it's a responsibility that you have to ensure, one, that you live up to the mandate of the association. You have a responsibility, one, to ensure that not only the work of the association continues, but that you also lift the bar, you educate the public. I mean, our mandate is wide. We have to ensure that our colleagues practice professionally. They're honorable in all their dealings. They treat their colleagues with respect, and the standard of the practice is lifted, and that the public would have confidence in the justice system. Lawyers are normally held at a very high bar, so and that ought to be the way.
Good.
The public should expect a lot from us, and we should deliver.
And would you say that role is a difficult role, being the president, getting all these
well, leadership position is always difficult, but I'm a servant leader, so I like to have participatory leadership. Okay. So I'm very open. I would like to speak to as much members as possible. We have a WhatsApp chat. We communicate via email, to ensure that but whenever I represent the bar, I represent collectively the attorneys, and I do so at a standard that is professional and that is accepted.
And what's about reaching out to your regional counterparts, the bar associations?
Absolutely. We also have a WhatsApp chat with Ogbar. I believe Mr. Ferguson is also president of one of the regional associations, so we have a very close relationship, and he has been integral in this process and also guiding me in relation to, because he would have walked this road already.
Yeah, okay. All right, Derek, is there anything else you would like to highlight before we wrap up?
Yeah, just to encourage as much persons as possible to come to the Trade Center tomorrow at 6:30. Come, be seated early, come with your questions.
Is it a free event?
Yes, it is a free event. Okay. You come and you listen attentively, and I could assure the public that they would be edified and they would learn a lot by just coming to that lecture. That lecture hasn't been on for the last 5 years.
Okay. Well, Mr. Sylvester, I thank you very much for gracing us with your presence this morning. And folks, don't forget, it's on Thursday at the Grenada Trade Center. It starts at 6:30, and you should go out and be a part of it. I know that we have quite a number of questions that you would like answered. So this is your opportunity to ask your questions. Those of you who think that maybe a family member or maybe yourself have been treated wrongly, a wrong sentence was meted out to you, and so forth. This is your opportunity to clear your head with some of the legal ramifications that you might have found yourself. Mr. Sylvester, thanks for coming, and I wish you all the best. I am going to try my best to be at that event on Thursday. All right. Would you like us to accommodate a call or two?
Maybe. I have no difficulty with that.
All right.
I would love to interact with the public.
All right. Okay, we have a caller on the line. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Yes, welcome.
I guess you don't know me, but I know you're fairly all right. I guess that you are an honest lawyer. So I'll ask you a question. Now, let's assume that somebody, your parents, leave you some land. You heard that, and you do not know. And because the executor didn't tell you anything, and you went to a lawyer, and you were trying to tell him to write a person who seemingly be the executor to find out about the land. And I wanted to say but one lawyer said, go and take your land. Can you go and take something you have never heard about, you never know? In other words, do you think the executor is supposed to tell you and then possibly show you a land? That's the question I'm asking you.
Okay, thank you, caller.
But first, let me explain this to you. An executor has a legal responsibility. One, his duty as executor is to probate that will, if there's a will, and also notify all beneficiaries who are on that will. So that's the duty of the executor. First, you have to determine whether or not a will really exists. So if you're satisfied that a will exists, but a letter could be simply written to the executor requesting a copy of the will. If that will is probated, then you could get a copy of that will in the registry. Okay. So then there is no need to even speak to the executor if the will is probated, because he has a responsibility to probate that will within 1 year. So you go to the registry, you do a search and determine whether or not that will is there. If you're of the view that that executor has a will, but he's not probating the will, then you could write to him.
Okay. Through a lawyer, of course.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, caller, I hope this answered your question. In the interest of time, we're going to accommodate 2 more calls quickly. 435-2041. That's the number to call. And, of course, we've got a caller on the line. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, my brother. Good morning to the officer there. I'm calling from Westerhall. My name is Teresa Millet. I have a problem, and a big problem too. I don't call it no name.
Okay, get to the question quickly, please.
So the question is, somebody can make your will and make you sign it, okay. And then I have to pay the lawyer $33,000.32, and I don't pay it because I didn't give nobody nothing to make, and they make the will and they make me sign it. So I don't know what they have on the will.
Caller, the question is whether someone can make a will and order you to sign it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, caller.
For a will to be valid, it must be signed by the testator, which is the person who has the property to devise, and 2 witnesses must be present. There's a reason for that, to ensure that it's done voluntarily. So a will could only be valid if it's signed by 3 persons being present. 1, the testator or the testatrix, the person who has the property, and 2 witnesses. Okay. So nobody cannot make a will and make you sign it. If that is the case and you're forced, you should make a report to the police. at least go to a lawyer, and or at least just make a new will, because once you make a new will, the last will is the will that prevail, the will that lasts in time.
Okay, so someone, you in essence, you cannot be forced to make a will. It has to be voluntary. Okay, all right. Quick call. All right, the phone line is dead. Closing remarks, Mr. Sylvester?
I just end by asking persons. I know most of the callers, they spoke to legal problems that they have, but I'm going to urge persons to come to the Trade Center tomorrow at 6:30. Come early, be seated, come with your questions, and be assured you would learn a lot from the Chief Justice.
Okay, thank you very much, Attorney at Law, President of the Grenada Bar Association, speaking there with Mr. Derek Sylvester. And once again, folks, I urge you to go on out tomorrow evening at 6:30 p.m. at the Grenada Trade Center for the 18th edition of the Sir Archibald Ned Lecture. Bro, thank you for dropping by, and have yourself a good day.
Thank you.
Don't walk off yet. We come on. You just walk off on me like this. Who does that? Folks, we'll be right back after these messages.
Solar lights are back in stock and will be available for purchase at Southern Electrical. Here is a list of the solar lights that we offer. 200 to 300 watt intelligent floodlights with camera, 300 to 500 watt solar street lights, 60, 100, 200 and 500 RGB solar floodlights, 100, 200, 300, 500 and 800 solar floodlights, solar garden lights, 25, 40, 60, 100 and 200 watt solar floodlights, 3, 7 and 10 watt solar wall lights, motion center garden lights, motion sensor floodlights, 30, 60 and 90 watt solar street lights with accessories, 5 watt solar wall lamps, 40 and 60 solar street lights, and 100 and 300 solar floodlights with battery power display. Now available at Southern Electrical, Dusty Highway, St. George. Visit our showroom today.
MegaFest 2022 Gospel Explosion is finally here. Join the youth of the Grenada Conference of Seventh-day Adventists under the green and white tent at Progress Park in St. Andrews from Sunday, October 9th to the 29th at 7 p.m. and continuing nightly for an electrifying evangelistic experience like no other. Come hear the ever-exhilarating Pastor Oliver Scott shatter the kingdom of darkness with thundering messages from the Word of God. If you ever needed the Lord before, we sure do need Him now. Come find hope in the midst of your pain. See you there.
Total is one of the world's largest oil companies with a top quality line of lubricants. Total Lubricants has a full product line from passenger cars, motorcycle, heavy industrial equipment, mining, trucking, agriculture, and manufacturing machines and vehicles. Total Lubricants, winning championships in motorsports, including Formula One and World Rally Championships. Total Lubricants are available at all Rubis service stations, leading automotive shops, and distributed by Huggins.
Jingle coming soon to all GBN platforms.
Don't miss the new season of Interesting Grenadians on GBN TV and social media platforms from Wednesday, October 12th at 8 p.m. and every Wednesday until November 9th, featuring the Anya Chow Chong story, the Richard Duncan story, and lots more. It's Interesting Grenadians, celebrating our interesting and outstanding Grenadians at home and abroad. Wednesdays at 8 p.m. on GBN, beginning October 12th. You won't want to miss it.
wait to see my granddaughter.
Good morning once again. Welcome back as we take a run at what's happening on the buzz over the last 24 hours. Of course, you saw in the GBN news last night where Grenville Vale roadblock as a result of a boulder, and here's hoping that this time the authorities have cleared the road already. Yeah, you're seeing it right there. Also buzzing this morning, the relocation of police headquarters. As you know, the former headquarters of the National Disaster Management Agency, that's NADMA, which was situated at Fort Frederick, well, it will soon become the home of the RGPF's headquarters. The relocation is expected to begin in December of 2022. And that's a good thing. Maybe you can call me and tell me what your thoughts are on that, the relocation of the police headquarters. And here's the news clip that permeates that.
National Disaster Management Agency headquarters building at Fort Frederick will soon be home to part of the RGPF headquarters. Relocation is expected to begin in December of 2022. Extensive restoration work is presently taking place on the facility under the local component of the OECS Regional Tourism Competitiveness Project. Grenada has secured $6 million from the $26 million project financed by the World Bank to relocate the RGPF headquarters. The regional project has 3 participating islands: Grenada, St. Lucia, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Minister for Mobilization, Implementation and Transformation, Andy Williams, paid a visit to the facility on Monday, accompanied by senior officers of the RGPF.
Basically, we are engaging on a World Bank project that should have been in place some years now. And the project involved the beautification of Fort George, right, and the restoration of Fort George, and it's going to enhance it as a tourism site. So in doing so, we have to move part of the police headquarters, and we decided to move it up on this area here in Monjaloo. You call it Fort Frederick, right? Fort Frederick, and we are going to move the stores area. We are also going to move the tailor shop, and also we are going to move the drug squad unit. And that is to give us enough space so that we can do the works at Fort George.
The minister promised that his ministry will ensure a smooth transition of the RGPF's department.
This project here will take approximately 3 months, right? And we have approximately 8 months to finish the project at Fort George. So it's a project that MIT will be looking to push and to ensure that we do not lose funding for it, and that we do it in the shortest possible time. We are looking at let's say December for the police headquarters, part of it, to be relocated to this area right here at Fort Frederick. And I'm in contact with the contractor to ensure that we even do it before December, so it can be in a short time.
Christina John, GBN News.
Great, and that was from last night's news, Minister for Implementation, the Honorable Andy Williams, as he highlights the plans to relocate the police headquarters. All right, what are your thoughts on that? They are going to beautify the fort where the police headquarters is currently housed, and make it maybe a tourism attraction site or something like that. Yeah, so tell me, what's your take on this? You can call 435-2041. Also making the buzz this morning now, Grenadians are being encouraged to know their rights relative to citizenship, as former Attorney General Jimmy Bristol points out that the NDC-led administration is going against the Constitution by following the prior government's action in demanding that foreign-born children of Grenadian parentage apply for the Grenadian citizenship. And my TV crew is going to bring that story up momentarily, and I want you to gather your thoughts, and then you'll get back. Call me at the end of the clip. Yeah, that's
Former Attorney General Jimmy Bristol is imploring Grenadians on the island and in the diaspora to educate themselves on their rights for Grenadian citizenship. This comes as the lawyer claims that the newly elected government is going against their campaign promise to abide by Grenada's constitution by asking children of Grenadian parentage who were born in a foreign country to apply for citizenship or be deported.
Now, what the Constitution under Section 97 says is that such person born outside Grenada to parents who are born in Grenada after independence are citizens on the day they were born. The Constitution makes you a citizen. You don't have to apply, you don't have to pay for a form, you don't have to pay a fee for a certificate, nothing. What has been happening, and came to my attention in the last few weeks, is that this administration is continuing what the previous administration was doing, making such people apply and pay money to be registered as a citizen.
Bristol says by right, children with Grenadian parentage should only have to provide their birth certificate and that of their parents to obtain their Grenadian passport and not go through the costly and time-consuming procedure of registering for citizenship. He claims that the matter was brought to the attention of the relevant authority and he was told that the situation will be handled, but this is yet to be done.
I did speak with the Attorney General, who said she would send out a memo because she agrees with my position, but that hasn't been done by all accounts because it's still going on. And I had some very worrying news today when I learned that one person who came back to Grenada with their little son, having been brought abroad, was given time to remain and threatened with deportation if he didn't apply for citizenship within a given period. That is absolutely untenable and unacceptable. What bothers me is that the government is aware. They campaigned on a pledge to uphold the Constitution, and it doesn't seem to be that they're doing it in this case.
The attorney states that his concern is not an attack on the new government, but only points out that the situation needs to be addressed quickly. He spoke of how the situation can be resolved.
Well, the Attorney General has to direct the ministry, the Prime Minister's ministry, to stop that, and they will filter it down to immigration. So they will issue the passports. They could set up their internal system where you do a verification in the Prime Minister's office and of your documents. But I think you have to verify them.
GBN sought a comment from the current Attorney General Claudia Joseph, who acknowledged that she had an informal verbal conversation with Mr. Bristol on the matter and agreed that if his client was indeed a citizen by parentage, there was no need for registration of citizenship. She told GBN she did indicate to Mr. Bristol that she will address the issue in her capacity, but could not do so as other responsibilities took precedence. The Attorney General awaits the receipt of any formal documents from her colleague and was surprised that the issue was brought to the media as their conversation was just a few days old. For GBN News, I am Rena Pett Thomas reporting.
Good. Now, has this situation affected you in any way? Have you been aware of this? Is this something you agree that should be fixed ASAP? I think we have a caller on the line. Let me see. Good morning, caller.
Morning, Mr. Innocent.
How are you?
All right, fine. Good weather, man.
Thanks, good.
Right. What I think is that the moving that police station up there, I think it's not a bad idea,
Okay.
Because, we always most people always say they have their own ideas, but we don't have no own ideas. Most of the things that we know was there before. Somebody had it, they either write it, they either post it, they talk about it, something did it before. And
so in essence, nothing is really new.
It's following. So that point, if you go up there, at that point, if you have men like security men there, they have they have a visual of a scene of the whole of Grenada from on top there. So they could think, and as I've seen in some other country like that, they have a very big, powerful pine glass and top a stand, so that once in a while, if a policeman feel free, he could just go there and make a little peep around, check around, spy all over and see. Right, and then in another country, I see they're using all the high peaks. Some of them, if they don't have a big structure, but they have like a gazebo there, and that is places where sometimes the lawmen hang out, even the soldiers, or you might see two people up there, some person in the law, but they claim in these high points.
Okay.
So I think it's a very good thing.
Okay. All right. Thank you, caller. Good. Yeah. Thank you all so much for that contribution. And like I said, have you been affected anyway by this? Okay. Two stories on the buzz. That's what we're looking at the moment. The relocation of the headquarters for the RGPF and the citizenship issue that Attorney Jimmy Bristol has brought to the fore. Good morning.
Morning, Innocent. I want to fully support your last caller, or first or last caller, and that in relation to the moving of the headquarters of the police. Because we also need to decentralize things, so, and the location is a very good place. But I'm still trying to find out where is the new headquarters of NADMA. I don't think the average person knows it,
Okay. You know what? Shamefully, I don't even know. But it's supposed to be up on the fort, isn't it?
Well, the same place, or because we say relocating to where the former headquarters. So this means that NADMA has been moved.
If I'm not mistaken, I am thinking that it's currently up at that fort's going up by Richmond Hill up there.
No, but it's not the same. So which part? I'm a little confused. Which part NADMA? Because anyway, but that could be clarified, because I am a little confused to where NADMA is at the moment, especially in the light of where it's in the formal headquarters of NADMA.
Okay.
Anyway,
all right.
The point I want to underscore is one on the Constitution in relation to citizenship. And that is because that is something very dear to me. I'm one of the few people that took the former government to court in 1999, for the sale of Grenadian citizenship. And I've always been concerned of reselling our citizenship. In fact, somebody from Dominica sent me some information about where Grenadian passports are being advertised, and I want to believe it. Look as in Hong Kong for $100,000, and you have your passport to anywhere. Visa free, because the concept is that you can go anywhere in the world where you don't have, you can go where you don't have no visa requirement. But that's the subject for our next morning. In terms of the right of Grenadians, whether you're born, you're a citizen, whether you're a child of a Grenadian, I think we have to uphold the Constitution.
Yeah.
Because we don't understand what we're doing when we're selling our citizenship, because we will be competing with those kids and those offspring, Grenadian offspring, who have a right, a natural right.
Okay.
And we're selling rights in passports.
Okay.
To the citizenship, we're selling those rights, which would have serious problem. We have to look at what happened in other countries where the majority of people became the minority, as in Fiji and other places like that, and you have conflicts.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, caller.
Thanks.
Thank you. All right. That's 435-2041. That's the number you call to get in onto the action. That's the number 435-2041. We've got another caller. Good morning. Hi, good morning.
Good morning, sir. I'm calling in relation to the first news item you raised regarding the movement of the
police headquarters?
Yes.
Yes, tell me, what's your take on that?
Well, it's not a bad move in moving it there. However, it's also a heritage site. Fort Frederick is also a heritage site. And the access to that area is from the other side, which now passes right in front of the headquarters. So what is going to happen to the public access for that Fort Frederick?
Okay. I understand their take. Well, I guess the Honorable Andy Williams and his team will take all these logistics into consideration in making a final determination.
Well, they would have to, and as well as a news reporter should really ask the question as well.
Okay.
All right. So
all right.
The public needs to know.
Okay. All right. Thank you, caller.
You're welcome.
Good. Bye-bye. Yeah. 435-2041. That's the number to call to get in on the program this morning. Give us a call. Let's hear your take on the topics that we are discussing. And we've got a caller on the line. Good morning, caller.
Mr. Innocent.
Hi, morning.
I think you're too innocent, you know.
All right, okay, that's fine.
If you're not too innocent, you should realize why I asked a legal-minded man this question this morning. I had the experience with him where he told me, go and take the property that I do not know. I do not even know if the person make a will. I went to him to write a letter for me to that suspected proprietor, which I had a right. But he told me to go and take my property. Now what I find in Grenada, too many of us are too bright. And when we see people, once they're bright, they feel that you're stupid. In fact, I went to the office where they give all the wills and so on. They prove it.
Okay.
I got the first one.
All right.
They had a mistake on it.
Caller, before you go further, we would have to take this on another forum because that's
no. Let me just tell you, I'm going now.
It's already gone, right?
I got it.
Uh-huh.
I'll go back for another one. They gave me it. You could hardly read it. That's all I have to say.
All right. Okay. Thank you, caller. Good. Bye-bye. Okay, I got some clarification now. Good morning. The new NADMA headquarters is where the TV station was down at Manjaloo. Thank you very much. Thanks for my WhatsApp connections. All right, folks, unfortunately, we've run out of time. It's 1 minute away from 8 o'clock, and those of you who called and participated in the program this morning, thank you very much. But we've got to make preparation for that bulletin of news from the British Broadcasting Corporation, that's the BBC, which comes up at 8, which is just 40 seconds away. So thank you for being a part of the talk this morning, the buzz, what's making the buzz. And don't forget, folks, going out tomorrow evening at the Grenada Trade Center for that Archibald Ned lecture that is being done by, of course, the Bar Association is hosting it, and the Supreme Court Judge of the Eastern Caribbean Court is going to be there delivering that lecture. So going out there tomorrow, for example, the gentleman that called, the last caller, you have these questions, you can go on to the Trade Center tomorrow and have them answered as best as possible. Take it to the source. All right? Okay, so yeah, quite a number of responses here. Thank you very much, folks. That's it for this segment. The BBC is up next.